Well, I kiss back. Haley, it's courtyard. No, you fucking did it.
What is going on? It's your winged arthropod back again with another post-commentary video on an old-ass game. What are you doing, Slick? We're trying to hit those legacy views, dog. We're trying to hit those search results that you didn't even know you wanted. Regardless, we're here watching some gameplay of Call of Duty World at War on PC, of course. This is the first time I've played it on PC. Bought it the other night and played for like 3.5 hours. Absolutely hilarious. Super fun. I love this game. But I have something bigger to talk about, as I'm sure you saw by the title of the video. What could be bigger than Call of Duty World at War, Slick? I don't think anything. True, nothing is really as big as this game, but Call of Duty World War II. That's what we're here to talk about today. And, you know, obviously, there are two sides of this fence. The hype train, and then there are the people like, oh, you're just making this to be on the hype train. I'm on the fence. Call of Duty's let me down the past couple of years, like significantly. Really, really bad. This game, fantastic. Advanced Warfare, not so much. And I know that those are just two random ones, but it's just comparing like apples and oranges, but the oranges are kind of not sweet. I like sour oranges, actually. It's a bad analogy, but regardless, the new Call of Duties have been shit, and that's what I'm trying to say. And I can't tell if they've been shit because of the design idea or because of where the company's going. I don't know if I just don't like the era, because that's a huge possibility. Maybe I, as a person, just don't like the fact that Call of Duty had jetpacks and shit. But maybe it was a good game if you used them, right? Maybe it was a good game if you like that kind of thing. Or are they bad games because the company made them bad? And that's what we're here to talk about today. I think the companies have gotten very mainstream. Now, obviously, Call of Duty has been a mainstream game, a staple of what gaming is for a while. You know, everybody knows what Call of Duty is. That's the first thing I get asked. If I tell somebody in real life, that sounds so weird. If I tell somebody what I do, I make YouTube videos, they automatically ask me what games I play. And I just, instead of saying War Thunder and like all this shit that they're not going to know, and I know they're not going to know, I just say, yeah, I play like everything, like Call of Duty, Battlefield. They're like mainstream games. People know who they are, like what they are, even if they don't play them. And that's the scary thing, is because way back when there was Medal of Honor, Battlefield, Call of Duty, these games were competing, but they were competing in the shooter niche with each other for the gamers to know what they were, and Halo was there, I guess you could put. Nowadays, it's everybody buys Call of Duty. Even if they don't play video games, they have Call of Duty. They have like an Xbox One. They'll play Call of Duty when their friends come over. They'll play Call of Duty, and that's it. Or they play the sports games. And that drives down the real attention to detail these companies have to put into games to make them worthwhile. They could pretty much put out a copy and paste game, which they have for the past 3 years, and still sell millions of copies. And that's what makes me upset, is because I think they're going to fucking ruin World War II. And yeah, I don't know if it's true, but I remember World War II Call of Duty is this. I went back and played this because I wanted to see what it was like to me. And this was amazing. I played 3 hours, no problem. Of course, I'm in a modded lobby right now, and I, leveled up a ton, and maybe if I wasn't leveling up all the way and stuff like that, maybe I wouldn't like it as much. But the game felt smooth. It felt good. I remembered it. I'm afraid that I'm going to pick up Call of Duty World War II. I'm going to play it, and it's going to put a spin on World War II Call of Duty that I don't like. It's not going to feel like this game. It's not going to feel like Call of Duty 2. And you could say this World at War is way different from Call of Duty 2, and they are, but they feel similar. You can tell they're the same game. They add on each other. I feel like we've reached the peak of adding on, and I feel like they're just going to add so much stuff to try to make it appealing to everybody that it's going to ruin gameplay, and it's going to ruin core elements of the game. I don't want to see no stopping power. I want stopping power. I don't want to see 35 different attachments for my Mosin Nagant, because in the war they didn't use that. This game had 2 attachments for the gun, and you could say, well, that hurts replayability. No, it doesn't. It doesn't hurt replayability. The game itself, if it plays well, will have replayability. You look at games like Red Orchestra. Obviously, they're on different levels than Call of Duty, but Red Orchestra has withstood the test of time. It is playable to this day because of the fact that the gameplay is intriguing. It pulls people in. It's challenging. It's fun. And, what if they just screw that over, because they want to put new attachments in the game for Mosin Nagants and new wonder weapons and shit that never really existed. And it's the same thing that I said about Battlefield 1 in my most recent Battlefield video. It's a good game on the surface, but as soon as you start to realize that you're unlocking things that don't really make a difference, it's not the traditional way, it just pisses you off. And at least for anybody I've spoken to that's like a real hardcore shooter fan doesn't really like Battlefield 1 too much, unless they like the setting a lot. I think the game's beautiful, and that's the same thing. I think Call of Duty World War II is going to be beautiful. It's going to be a great looking game, but it's going to take so much away. In my opinion, it's probably going to take so much away from the World War II scene that I'm used to, or add stuff that isn't necessary in my eyes, that it's going to ruin the gameplay elements that I enjoy. Because if you're watching this video and you're new to the channel and you're like, well, who is this kid to talk about Call of Duty? I'm not like a professional player, but I've been playing Call of Duty tournaments since I was 14. I've gone to LANs, and I always play the competitive aspect. And when you play competitive aspect of the game, you care less about bouncing betties and you care more about hit registration. And, when hit registration works, that's the hidden stuff that makes you come back. That's the stuff that makes the game reputable and playable over and over again, because you can hit cool shots and you don't get messed up by the game a lot. It's and that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that they're going to add stuff that breaks balance in what I know is Call of Duty. I feel like they're going to tarnish good guns. And maybe I'm just saying this from a glass half empty perspective, because a World War II boots to ground game is what we've been asking for. We've been asking for boots to ground, not necessarily World War II, but I'm happy they're going back to that. So maybe that is a step in the right direction. Maybe I'm just giving them a hard time because I'm just used to the modern Call of Duties and I'm fed up with it. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Because I think World at War was probably my second favorite Call of Duty. I mean, my top three are Black Ops 1, World at War, and Modern Warfare. Not in that order, but those are my three favorite. And they all had very similar things. They didn't go overboard with attachments. The guns worked. Gameplay was nice. Map design was fantastic. I mean, look at this map. It's set up really well. And I don't even remember if this was like a competitive map or not, but it's just set up well. It has open lines of sight. It has choke points. It has a little bit of, structure for the bombs and stuff. It's nice. It's a great map. And, they fall apart when you start adding like 3 planes because you have to wall run and jump on top of stuff. And when you start making the game like you have to look up every 5 seconds and do double jumps and stuff, you have to create these maps so they have hidden walls everywhere and stuff. When you're boots to ground, I feel like it's probably a lot easier as a map designer to make a map that plays well. So I hope that they focus their efforts on great map design, good gunplay, movement, and all the stuff that we've grown to love from a Call of Duty game. And then they maybe forget the shit that didn't exist, like crazy flamethrowers and stuff. And I'm not saying that they can't add on stuff. I think there could be guns that they could add, and which would be cool. But I don't think that they should add too much stuff. And I guess that might be hard for some people to grasp, because a lot of you guys might not even have played the old Call of Duties. You might not understand what I'm talking about, but you used to always have to have a pistol and you used to not be able to run around with your knife out, and you had to use stopping power if you really wanted to kill people, or run jug. And bouncing betties and stuff weren't like a special. They were a perk slot, and some of you guys might not have remembered that, which is hard to believe for me. And then the attachments. Don't even get me started on the attachments. One, you had to unlock them without paying for them with this in-game currency bullshit and unlocking guns. You had to just play the game. And guns were unlocked with a level. And then when you used the gun enough, you got an aperture for it, or a bayonet, or some shit like that. And it made the gun a little bit better. And I think that's what I want. I want that again. I want World at War remastered, pretty much. Because Modern Warfare Remastered was a good game until they started fucking with it. And, you know, I was happy. I was very happy with it. I played it on GBs. I played a ton of game battles. I played tournaments in it. I loved that game. And it's one of my favorite. And then they started adding drops and new guns and stuff. Really messing with things. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments down below. Let's have a discussion about Call of Duty. How do you feel about this game? And I will see you guys later on. I'm thinking about doing some custom zombies with this game. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Alright guys, see you in the next one. Peace.